All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you, just like me. All right, here's Perfect Plan. We're going to be talking about Van Halen. Does this sound like Van Halen? Maybe the Hagar era of Van Halen. Specifically, we'll be talking about how Sammy is sounding off on what appears to be the end of the Van Halen speculation. Um, Again, this band, 3 solid albums out there. Not only Van Halen, but they sound like Foreigner, Survivor, Giant, and maybe even a bit of the Michael Schenker group, MSG. Anyway, pick an album, they're all good. Brace for Impact is their latest offering, came out last year. Now, talking about Sammy Hagar and Van Halen, it's an ongoing situation here. Van Halen is, I think, pretty much toast at this point. This recent podcast, Sammy Hagar says that it's the same old story. It's the same old bleeping story. Alex won't respond to me. I reach out to him. I haven't done it in a long time now. Now, I think I covered an article a week ago where Sammy was just complaining about Alex not communicating with him. But he goes on here. I think he's getting frustrated to the point where he doesn't want to deal with this anymore. He says, hey, you want to talk to me? Call me. But there's not going to be a Van Halen reunion, he continues, adding it's too late. So at this point, Sammy is basically telling them, you guys screwed up. We should have done this. Now it's too late. Now, in this article, everything is characterized as a Van Halen reunion, which it can't be a real reunion without Ed being there. But Sammy believes that if Wolfgang were to participate, then it would be something legitimate. And I tend to agree with that. Sammy does something here, though, that I think is a little sarcastic and tongue-in-cheek. And maybe you don't pick up on this, but I'm reading something into it. Maybe I shouldn't be. He says that Wolfgang would be perfect. He'd just fit in the right way because obviously he plays guitar really well. He used to be the bass player in Van Halen, and Sammy's theory is you move him over to lead guitar, you bring Michael Anthony back in, which apparently could be a problem for Alex. We don't know. Based on what I've read and what I've heard, that might be the situation. He goes on to say, when it comes to the band's other frontman, David Lee Roth, Hagar says there's no way he would cooperate with me. So you've got that problem. You've got which singer. You should be having both guys in on it. But Sammy says that Wolfie is too busy now. He's too busy with his own band, Mammoth WVH. I've never been a big fan of Wolfie calling his band Mammoth and then putting WVH on the end of it. It's clever because it was the name that Van Halen chose originally. So when I think of Mammoth, I'm thinking of the early days of Van Halen. And I debate folks here and there about Wolfie. He writes interesting songs. This is 90s melodic rock is what it is, with some pop overtones and different things that he's got going on, progressive stuff maybe. The guitar work is stellar. I mean, you can't dump on the kid for his guitar playing because it's very good. Hence, this is why Sammy says, why don't we do the tribute? The fact that these guys can't cooperate with a tribute and have Wolfie play guitar, have Dave show up and just sing, Dave. There's this video of Roth dancing around. And this is a fairly recent video he uploaded. This is his true nature now. He's into this EDM music. He wants to dance around to Latin jazz or whatever it is that he's playing in the background. It's something that I'm supposed to know, but I don't know, because when it was uploaded, everybody's like, look, David Lee Roth dancing to this big hit song. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know it. I'm isolated. I've isolated myself from some of this amazing pop culture that I'm missing. How could I, right? So Sammy goes on to say, if Dave goes out by himself, that's not a Van Halen reunion. That's half a Van Halen reunion. If I go out by myself without him, it's half a Van Halen reunion, he explains. Only good news about that is that I could sing his songs just fine, meaning that Sammy could sing all of the Dave songs. We could send Mitch Malloy down and he could sing the entire catalog as well, since he should have been the singer in Van Halen. But, you know, that's what happens when you go on MTV and you pretend that Dave is back in the band. That was the dumbest move. It was great for publicity at that moment, but you scared off the guy who at that point said, this band is too dysfunctional for me. Anyway, you can catch up with Mitch Malloy these days because he's got a great solo album out there. Sammy and bassist Mike Anthony are still close and perform together. Yes, that is true. Sammy says he'd love to have Alex come play with them as well. But the thought of a Van Halen reunion with Eddie, no, he says there's no such thing. So he's done. He's all out of begging and pleading and trying to deal with the dysfunction. And again, you've got Wolfie out there saying that Sammy doesn't want to do this. He said he did, but then he said he didn't. And I'm reading pretty much every article regarding Sammy on this topic, and it's mostly, yeah, just let me know. I'd love to do it. I mean, you had Jason Newsted spilling the beans saying that there was some talk about him playing bass, which to me is outrageous. So if you think of that, like Jason Newsted on bass rather than Michael Anthony, then my guess is that Alex, for whatever reason, is still ticked off at Michael and Sammy. He would probably work with Dave still for some reason. So it would be Jason Newsted, Alex Van Halen, maybe Wolfgang Van Halen. I think Wolfie has some kind of an issue with Sammy too, a little bit, even though, you know, again, I think Sammy's being sarcastic. He's just too busy with his band. Really, he's not that busy with his band. I think he was throwing that out there. Yeah, he's doing stuff with his band, but for a one-off concert, he's too busy. See, Wolfgang Van Halen, the way he handles social media too, it's like he goes after these people that are trolling him rather than just blocking them and moving on with his life. And he makes a big deal about how stupid people are, and he's correct in all that. But that's in the news more than, you know, a possible Van Halen reunion. And he should probably be spearheading this. And if his uncle doesn't want to do it, then guess what? Maybe you find someone to play drums, for crying out loud. I mean, if you move over to lead guitar and you've got Dave or Sam or both, hopefully, and you've got Michael Anthony there, then bring someone in to play drums. Spearhead the whole thing. But he says this is all up to Alex, and Alex and Sammy aren't communicating. And based on what Sammy is saying here, it's Alex, obviously, who just doesn't want to have anything to do with this. And it kind of feels like it always has felt with Van Halen over the past, 3 or 4 decades, where nothing happens for long periods of time and people just forget about it for a while, even though they keep plugging away, trying to find out what's going on with Van Halen. Absolutely nothing, apparently, according to Sammy Hagar. No reunion. He just says it's done, over. So you've ticked Sammy Hagar off to the point where he doesn't want to have anything to do with it if it were to ever happen. And I blame Alex and Wolfgang, and to a smaller extent, David Lee Roth. But, you know, I don't know. I would prefer to see the Sammy version because, again, Sammy can still sing to some degree. Fans will disagree and say, hey, it would be great to see them both out there. I agree to some extent that both singers would be, you know, definitely worth the price of admission to see them both. But getting those two guys together typically does not end well, as we saw during the famous Sam and Dave tour like 20 years ago. So the saga, maybe it's over. Maybe, you know, after Sammy says this, they'll call Dave and they'll say, hey, Dave, you're in because Sammy says now he's out and now we don't have to deal with him. So if I were to guess, I think they're just going to do a Dave reunion if they ever do it. And if Alex can convince Wolf to play guitar, and then they'll probably get like Jason Newsted or somebody else to play bass because they won't have Michael back, which is really pathetic at this point. So, all right. I have a perfect plan, though, right here. Brace for impact. The story of Van Halen and how they'll never have a reunion concert. This is why you need some new material out there to listen to. The lead singer, Kent Hilly, has a new album coming out soon. I'm sure I'll be talking about that in the future. One of the finest melodic rock voices on the scene today is Kent Hilly. He can sing anything. He's really amazing. I don't know where he was prior to all of this, but, you know, since like 2016, 2017, he's been just killing it out there. So Kent Hilly, check him out. He's over on Facebook too. I think Perfect Plan, they have a lot of social media that you can check out. And of course, listen to their music, available where all great music is streamed. Also, don't forget about Modern Retro Radio. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of songs they're putting into rotation because of me. Now, yeah, mostly because of me, because I suggested a few songs and they decided to take me up on that. And you'll be hearing some of the new stuff that I promote on this platform over on their internet station, modernretrofm.com. And again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I need subscribers. We're getting close to another number, another round number. It's like pulling teeth, trying to hope that you get there. So if you haven't subscribed, maybe you can put me over the top and I'll still be like 32,000 short of 100K. And I don't know. I'm going to be a really old dude if I ever get there. So thanks, people. God bless you all. God bless the world. See you soon.